we got married in this romantic castle. She looked like a princess. The weather was beautiful. I mean, we're talking about Holland here, where it normally rains, not one cloud in the sky. So this was really nice. And the whole day, it was just perfect. It was almost too perfect. And why I say this? Well, as probably everyone knows by now, the thing is that she started to work for this garden decoration distributor, and she started to design some of the pottery. And one evening she comes back home and she tells me, listen, you know what, I can go to Asia, because all the factories are in Asia, all the pottery is being produced over there, and I can go there, I can see how my designs come out of the oven. So I said, well, that's great, it's fantastic, so you should go. And so she did, and she went at the end of May, and just before the weekend, as I recall, and she called me on Monday night, and she was so enthusiastic. I mean, she tells me, oh, listen, and first it all went totally wrong, because it didn't come out of the ovens as we expected it would be. So we had to redesign, we had to do other things, and I don't know the process, but anyway. But the second time, it was a great success, and everybody was enthusiastic and happy, and it all went just great. And so she said, in order to celebrate this, on Thursday I will catch the flight back home, but on Wednesday morning we go to this market here in the city. It's a big, famous tourist market, and we're just gonna go and walk around, do a little shopping and stuff. So, yeah, well, great. And so this particular Wednesday morning, she went there with two of her colleagues, and it was about 10 o'clock in the morning, and while she was standing at a booth, and you do the stuff what you do on the market, you just look around and you think, what can I bring back for my mom, or what can I bring back for I don't know, you do your souvenir buying. And while she's standing there, out of nowhere, some lunatic just runs up to her, and he stabs her. I mean, he just stabs her. I mean, you have to imagine, there is this 26-year-old girl. She's not harming a fly. She doesn't do anything bad. She's just enjoying the morning, enjoying the market, and think about how she can give to people that she loved back home. And then this guy comes, and he just ends her life. And then I ask myself, why? Why in the world would you do that? And I've been asking that question quite some time, and I don't know the answer. I just don't know the answer. I cannot imagine that she would do such a thing. I mean, why would you do that? Anyway, I can stand here, try to solve this question now. I mean, it's been 15 years ago, and I have not come up with an answer, so I cannot imagine I will come up with an answer right now. But every time I think about this, it's really, it's unimaginable. It's really, I don't get this. I don't get this. And you know, the thing is that he didn't just end her life, but he destroyed the lives of a lot of other people. And because this has a ripple effect on her family, on her friends, and it's just unimaginable. And this happened in a country where there is the death penalty. So a year after I got word from the Dutch government, who was informed by this country's government. I don't go into the country. No, it was in Asia, but it has nothing to do with this country. I received letters and cards from local people who were apologizing and for what happened. And so, you know, this is not those people are like that. No, it's just one crazy motherfucker, excuse my language, who just does something completely, well, I don't have words for that. So, but as I was saying, there is the death penalty in this country. So a year after, I received word from the Dutch government that they had executed this person. And you know, because it's like when you look at movies, when there is this nasty killer and he gets killed or he gets executed, and then you think, yeah, it's good. This is revenge. It doesn't work like that in real life. I didn't feel like there was revenge. I mean, you know, in a way I felt even sorry for the guy. I mean, he must be really sick, and I don't know. But anyway, his death didn't solve my problem, my pain, the pain of so many other people. So it's just another life taken away because of one stupid action. And but it's been unreal. It's been extremely difficult in the beginning, and because the thing was that there's this time difference, you know, there is a 5, 6, 7 hour time difference, because I was living in Holland at the time. And so when it happened, when she actually got killed, I was asleep. I was home asleep. So a couple of hours later, I wake up and I do my morning stuff. You know, you have no idea what has happened. So, you know, you do your normal things. You take a shower, you have breakfast, you jump in the car, you drive off to work. And so while I was sitting at work, and I remember I was having my desk, and here was the window, and there was the parking lot, and I see a car pulling up the parking lot around 10:30 something. And I recognized the car because it belonged to the colleague of my wife, and I recognized because we also saw each other in the weekends and stuff. And so I think, hey, what is he doing here? He's not doing any business with us. And then a fraction of a second later, you just know. You feel there's something wrong. You feel this is not right, because his office is 2 hours that direction. So if he doesn't do any business with us, why is he here? And so I go down and I walk down. We just stood up and I didn't say anything to anybody, and I just went down into the lobby, and he enters the building, and we meet each other in the middle of this hallway, and he just looks at me, and with this stoic face, and he just says the 3 most devastating words I've ever heard in my life. He looks at me and he says, "Judith is dead." So what? What? I mean, I don't what? I mean, she just, what are you saying? She just called me, you know, 2 days ago. She comes back home tomorrow. What are you saying? And he didn't answer me. I mean, he was just looking at me, because I don't know why. I cannot imagine how it must have been for him. I mean, you don't want to repeat such a phrase anymore, I guess. So, but I didn't understand, because I just talked to her, and I thought, is this real? Is this not a mix-up? This is Judith we're talking about? Are you sure? And at that moment, it was just like I put my head in a bell jar, or jar bell, or how you call it, and I just heard, and I saw people around me moving, and they were talking to me because I saw their mouths opening and closing, but I didn't hear them. I just heard this buzzing sound, and I remember the only thing that I could think of was, what am I doing now? 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 And I remember I was being brought to a table, and they sat me down on a chair, and again people coming in the room, leaving the room, in the room, leaving the room, and the next thing I know, that was I was sitting in the car, and they drove me back to my parents because they had no idea what to do. You know, where do we take this kid? I mean, we cannot bring him home because home there's no one, and so we bring him to his parents. So I remember it was a 2 hours drive, I think, but I have the feeling it took two weeks. It was the longest drive of my life. And when I arrived at my parents, they came out, and I just fell in their arms. It was so, oh my God, what are you going? Oh, what again? What am I going to do now? And then I was there in the living room, and friends arrive, and you know, people they sit next to you, and with basically the same question, what am I going to do now? But there's nothing. There's just nothing. So that's it. That's how it all started, and it was in a couple of weeks. That's 15 years ago, and it's been, well, 15 years is quite a long time. It feels like a long time, but it feels also like it happened just 2 weeks ago or something, you know, just recently. Because it is still unreal, and there's still no answer why, and there are still so many questions. And but the thing is, life goes on, and after a while you realize that life goes on, and so you try to pick up, but there is nothing to pick up anymore, because it's not there. Something fell on the floor and now you pick it up. Something is just not there anymore. There is nothing to pick up. You have to create a new life. And you have really no idea how to do that, because your emotions are like I mean, it's like there's a pinball machine inside your head, and a little ball goes into all the corners, and you just don't know. But you see life moving on. You see people doing their everyday stuff. You see people getting freaked out because they're in a traffic jam or in the wrong checkout line at the supermarket. And you think, what the hell are you making such a big fuss about? You know, don't you know what just happened? Don't you know that my girl is not there anymore? And what are you getting pissed off about? Because you're in the wrong checkout line, or you're having a headache, or you're in a traffic jam, or oh my God, the shoes don't fit the rest of the don't match with the rest of the outfit. And so you try to find the sense in life again, because there is no more sense, and it doesn't make any sense. And but you realize that you are part of life, and everybody goes on, and I mean, you cannot stand still in life. Life goes on. It really does. And so I just try and move along. And well, it's been quite a number of years, and I learned through these years. I learned how to deal with the pain, because it hurts so much. It still hurts. I tell you the story, it hurts. And so, you know, there's this huge gap in your life, and this gap is being filled by other experiences. I got remarried to a wonderful girl, and she gave me a beautiful daughter. So, you know, all these things, they fill the gap, but the pain is always there. And that's not a bad thing. The pain belongs to the fact that you went through this experience, and you because of this experience, there's the pain. I mean, if you want to get rid of the pain, the experience has to disappear, and that's not possible. So the pain is there. So you have to to learn how to deal with the pain, and you learn that, and you even learn how to use it as leverage, and you to learn how to embrace the pain and to wield it. You really learn how to wield it. Another thing is that you have to open up. You have to show your vulnerability, and that's quite scary for a guy because we are supposed to be tough. Plus, the thing is that we are not being taught how to deal with all these emotions. So when you open up, it's not just that other people look inside of you, but you also look inside of yourself, and that's very, very scary. And so then you close up immediately, and you have to and you open up, and then you close, and you open up, and you close, and you do that a really lot of times, and then you open up a little longer, and you go step by step. Another thing is that you have to learn how to deal with your new label, because you lost your wife, so it makes you a widower. How do you deal with that? There are people that have no idea how to deal with it. In the beginning, I didn't know how to deal with it either, because everybody puts always name tags on everything and everybody, and according to that name tag, you deal with that person or that situation in a certain way. But how do you deal with being a widower? I was 29 years old when this happened. I was just a kid, but I don't think it makes much difference that if you're 29 or you're 69, this is a new experience. This situation doesn't make sense. It's absurd. It is absurd. And so you have to learn how to deal with that. And how do you deal with your friends and family? Because they expect you to act in a certain way. How do you present yourself to new people if they ask if you are married? And how do you tell your story? Another thing is that I learned quite well. There was about a year that after Judith died, that I learned that you have to care about yourself, because in the beginning you don't give a shit. You think, what the hell? This is really. I've been working my butt through school. I took a mortgage. We bought a beautiful house together. We are really building our lives. We're trying really to do something. We don't harm anybody. We just we are good people. We try to do our best. We have nice relationships with friends and family. And then this happens. So what the hell? Really, what the hell? But so you don't give a shit anymore. You don't give a damn. And then after about 10 months or something, I came into a situation where where I had an aha moment that I thought, hey, I care again. And it all starts with caring, because if I don't care about myself, how can I care about you? Or how can I care about life? It is your attitude which reflects upon the things which come back to you then. If I don't give a damn about anything, what comes to me? Nothing. But if I care, and I care for people, and I care for a certain situation, and I care if my life goes in a certain direction, these things, they come also back to me. And so it all starts with caring. And the last thing that I learned was to share my story. And that I learned really recently, just it's a year ago. I had to share my story because I kept it for myself, because I thought, who wants to listen to this sad story? Yeah, people like stories. I mean, we all go to the movies, we all go to the theater, we all know our fairy tales from Snow White to you name them. And so people like stories, but my story had a sad ending. So who would be interested in listening to this sad story? But then I realized my story didn't end at all. The death of my spouse 15 years ago was a big turning point in my life, but it didn't end. It went on my life. It just went on. I didn't have to do anything. I mean, I breathe automatically. It's not something I have to put great effort in. It's just happening. So life went on, and maybe with her I would have gone in that direction, and now I was forced into that direction, or I chose to go in that direction, or whatever, but it didn't end. And I did a lot of things in the past 15 years, and I learned a lot of things in these past 15 years, and I thought that is also interesting. That can help people, that can help guys who are still stuck, or who just had this experience and they have no idea where to begin, or they are still looking to pick up the pieces and they don't find the pieces. No, of course they don't find the pieces because they're not there, but they don't know that yet, you know. So I thought my story didn't only end, but it's also valuable for other people. So I have to share it, and that's why I wrote the book, The Widower's Manual. And this book is coming out on July 1st, and I'm very proud of that. And no, I'm very keen on getting it out there and helping guys with what I write. And when I started to write this book, I said, if there's just one heart I can touch on this new journey, it's been worthwhile. And so that is my goal. But of course, I want to touch more than just one heart. I want to touch many, many hearts. But I really want to say, listen, guys, you have a choice. You have a choice to either stop or to go on. And when you go on, then really go on. And not with the handbrake on, not just a little. No, you go fully, because you paid a price. You paid an extravagant price to know how delicate life is. And because you paid that price, you are entitled to get something back for that payment. You are entitled to a great life, to a full life, to a life that you live to the fullest. So do that. So go out, and maybe you just don't know how to get there, but you can only take step 2 if you've made step 1. And it all starts with that first step. And before that, you have to decide that you want to go. So do that. You owe it to yourself, you owe it to your life, you owe it to your wife. Just live your life. You have to be free, you have to feel free, you have to be present, you have to know that you are and that you can do great things. This is your time. You have to do this. You have to do this for a lot of reasons. But the first reason is looking at me right now, and that's you. So go out there, be free, be present, and live your life.